Rational functions, part 3, and this is all about graphing rational functions. In this particular video presentation, didiscuss natin si domain and range ng rational function, intercepts and zeros of rational functions, vertical and horizontal asymptotes, and the graphs of rational functions. Let me first familiarize you to arrow notation. Say we have this symbol. This means that x approaches a from the right. No, galing sa right. And if a from the left, ganito naman yung ating notation. Next, x approaches to positive infinity or x increases without bound. Papunta siya sa positive infinity. Likewise, x approaches to the negative infinity. Let us recall some definitions. Domain, again, this is the set of all values that the variable x can take. Ito yung mga pwedeng maging values ni x. And the domain, this is the set of all values that f of x or y will take. Ito naman yung mga pwedeng values ni y. We also have zeros. These are or is the value of x which make the function equal to 0. So, ito naman yung magpapa-0 kay y. Also, let us recall x-intercept. These are the values of x when y is 0. Ito yung mga values ni x kapag ang y ay 0. At the same time, we call x-intercepts as the zeros. Also, we had the y-intercept ng ating grade 10 na kung natatandaan ninyo sa x and y-intercept. Ito naman yung value ni y kapag ang x ay 0. Again, x-intercept, value ni x kapag ang y ay 0. And then y-intercept, value ni y kapag x ay. Let us have a quick example. Let us consider the function f of x equals x minus 2 over x plus 2. Let us find its domain, intercept, graph, and range. Okay, let's start with the domain. Ang domain ng rational function ay set of all real numbers except sa number na magpapa-undefined sa kanya. Ano ba yung mga number na nagpapa-undefined sa rational function? Ito yung mga number na nagpapa-zero sa ating denominator. So, based dito sa ating given, ano ba ang number na magpapa-zero kay x plus 2? Yes, negative 2. That means our domain is the set of all real numbers except negative 2. Next, intercepts. The x and y intercept. So, mag-start tayo kay x-intercept. Sabi natin, ang x-intercept ay value ng x kapag ang y ay 0. So, if value ng x kapag ang y ay 0. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung number na magpapa-0 sa ating function. At paano yun malalaman? Number na magpapa-0 sa numerator. Kasi kapag 0 ang numerator natin, automatic 0 ang function natin. Ano bang magpapa-0 kay x minus 2? Yes, 2. Next, y-intercept. Ito naman yung value ni y kapag ang x ay 0. So, isolve natin. Gawin lang nating 0 lahat ng x. So, this is negative 2 over 2 or simply negative 1. Our x-intercept is 2, y-intercept is negative 1. Again, x-intercept, value ng x kapag ang y ay 0 or simply yung number na magpapa-0 sa ating numerator. And then y-intercept, value ni y kapag ang x ay 0. So you solve. Palitan mo lahat ng x variable ng 0 and then solve. Next, si graph at si range. Si range ay makikita natin sa graph. So ibibigay ko si graph. Gaya ng sabi ko sa inyo, please download GeoGebra Graphing Calculator. So, kapag in-input ninyo si f of x, ito ang lalabas na graph. Now, kung mapapansin ninyo, ay meron siyang certain value na iniiwasan kay y. So, according to our range, y should not be equal to 1. Nasaan ba si 1? Ito si 1. Kung mapapansin nyo, yan, dito mama kay 1. Yan, yung graph natin ay approaching to y equals 1. Pero hindi yan magta-touch kay 1. So, later makikita nyo ano ba ang tawag kay y equals 1. Yan. So, kung wala pa kayong graphing calculator, pwede naman kayo mag-input ng mano-mano using table of signs. At ganun din naman ang lalabas. Yan. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyong line kanina. And meron tayong vertical line dito, si x equals negative 2. Kung mapapansin nyo, ito yung restriction sa domain. X should not be equal to negative 2. So, kapag si graph ay nagtuloy-tuloy, hindi yan magta-touch kay negative 2. At later, i-identify natin ano bang tawag kay x equals negative 2 at y equals positive 1. Okay, tuloy-tuloy tayo. Vertical asymptotes of rational functions. Nagkaroon na kayo ng idea kung ano ba itong asymptote. Ito ay yung line na kung saan approaching yung graph or yung values natin pero hindi siya magta-touch. Narinig nyo na yan dati sa mga hugot-hugot natin. Papalapit ng papalapit pero hindi yan didikit. Yan. Okay, vertical asymptote. The vertical line x equals a is a vertical asymptote of a function f if the graph of f either increases or decreases without bound as x approaches the values of a. Paano ba hinahanap si vertical asymptote? Yan. Find the values of a where the denominator is 0. Hanapin mo yung mga magiging values ni a na kung saan magpapa-0 magiging 0 yung denominator natin. Kasi nga, si vertical asymptote, siya yung magpapa-undefined doon sa ating function. If this value of a does not make the numerator 0, then the line x equals a is the vertical asymptote. Yan, x equals a, vertical, patayo, kaya x equals a. And in this particular example, ang vertical asymptote natin ay yung line na ito. Kung mapapansin nyo, kapag ang ating graph ay nagdire-diretso dan, hindi yan didikit. Papalapit lang siya ng papalapit dun sa ating x equals negative 2 pero never yang magta-touch dyan. So, our vertical asymptote is x equals negative 2. This is a line. Next, horizontal asymptote. Yan. Horizontal, so ito naman yung pahiga. Kanina ay vertical, patayo. Horizontal ay pahiga, so we'll use y. Y equals b is a horizontal asymptote of a function f if the f of x approaches b as x increases or decreases without bound. And how do we find the vertical asymptote? The horizontal asymptote rather. Okay, let us remember this one muna. We let f of x be the rational function given. N is the degree of the numerator. Again, degree is the highest exponent. N is the degree of the numerator and C is the leading coefficient. M is the degree of denominator and D is the leading coefficient. So, dalawa lang yung tatandaan nyo, yung degree at saka yung leading coefficient ng numerator at denominator. If N is less than M, our horizontal asymptote is the x-axis or y equals 0. Kapag ang degree ng numerator ay mas maliit sa degree ng denominator, ang ating horizontal asymptote ay si x-axis. Next, if equal ang degree ng numerator at denominator, ang ating horizontal asymptote ay si y equals c over d, yung quotient ng leading coefficient ng numerator at ng denominator. Next, kapag mas mataas naman ang degree ng numerator sa denominator, the function has no vertical asymptote. Okay, so tatlo lang yung tatandaan nyo. Kapag mas maliit ang degree ng numerator sa denominator, x-axis, ang horizontal asymptote. Kapag equal, quotient ng leading coefficient in numerator at ni denominator. Kapag mas malaki ang degree ng numerator sa degree ng denominator, the function has no vertical asymptote. So in the previous example, our horizontal asymptote is the line y equals 1. Again, kahit na magdiretso yung graph natin pa ganyan, yan ay papalapit lang ng papalapit. Pero hindi yan didikit sa ating horizontal at vertical asymptote. Alright? Okay, let us have these examples. I have, I think, 3. Find the x and y intercept and the vertical and horizontal asymptote of the following function. So let us start with the x-intercept. X-intercept. Sabi natin ang x-intercept ay yung value ng x kapag ang y ay 0 or simply the number na magpapa-0 sa ating numerator. Ano ang magpapa-0 sa numerator? Yes, 0. Next, y-intercept. Value ng y kapag ang mga x ay 0. Palitan mo lang ng 0. 0 plus 1. Kita mo na agad na 0 ang ating y-intercept. Next, vertical asymptote. Vertical asymptote, ito naman yung line na approaches but never touches. So, paano siya makikita? Tingin ka naman sa denominator. Ano ang x or value ni x na magpapa-0 sa denominator? Yes, negative 1. So, our vertical asymptote is x equals negative 1. Next, horizontal asymptote. I-check natin ang leading coefficient, ang degree rather, sorry. Ano ang degree ng numerator? 1. Anong degree ng denominator? 1 din. Since equal ang degree nila, we have to divide the leading coefficient of the numerator sa leading coefficient ng denominator. Ano bang leading coefficient ng numerator? 4. Leading coefficient ng denominator? 1. So, ang ating horizontal asymptote is y equals 4 over 1 or simply 4. That's it. Ito yung graph. Ayan, no? Ay, sinulatan ko. Sorry. Again, tingnan nyo. Ito yung horizontal asymptote natin. Si 4. At ang vertical asymptote natin is negative 1. Si negative 1 ay dito. Yes. By 2 kasi yung graph na ginamit ko. Nandiyan siya. Okay? Another example. Ayan. We have g of x equals x squared minus 9 divided by x minus 3. Be careful dito ha. Kung mapapansin nyo, we can still factor out x squared minus 9. We have x plus 3 at saka x minus 3 over x minus 3. We can divide this out at ang matitira sa atin ay x plus 3, which is a linear function. So, ayan ay line lamang. Wala siyang horizontal asymptote, wala din siyang vertical asymptote. Last example. Okay, x-intercept. X-intercept, magpapa-0 sa numerator. 0. Y-intercept, isosolve natin yan. So, 3, 0 squared. O, kita nyo na agad, 0 squared minus 4. Dito ay 0. Next, vertical asymptote. Magpapa-0 sa denominator. Ano kaya? X equals 2. At x equals negative 2. Dalawa. Kasi pwedeng negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is also positive 4. 2 times 2 is also positive 4. So, careful kayo diyan, ha? Next, horizontal asymptote. Let us check the degree ng numerator. Anong degree ng numerator? 2. Squared siya, no? Degree ng denominator, 2 rin. So, check naman natin ang leading coefficient. Dahil sila ay equal, kailangan nating i-divide ang leading coefficient. Leading coefficient ng numerator is 3. Leading coefficient ng denominator is 1. So, our horizontal asymptote is y equals 3 over 1 or simply 3. And this is the graph. Yan. Hasan ba si vertical asymptote? Alright. Asan? Ito. Ito si vertical asymptote. Ano? Ayan. Dalawa. Asan si horizontal asymptote? Si 3. Ito. Yan. Nasa pagitan nito at 4. Okay? Ayan. Yan yung ating paghanap ng x-intercept and y-intercept at saka yung ating mga asymptote. Ma'am, nasan po yung x and y-intercept dyan? So, ayan. 0. So, 0 sila nag-touch. Okay?